I remember watching the sheer brilliance of legacy characters facing off in grand courtrooms, where every dark secret was laid bare and no stone was left unturned by brilliant legal minds. Today, watching Willow parade around as a saintly figure while hiding a mountain of deceit reminds me of the classic villains we loved to hate decades ago. But what is happening right now is a direct slap in the face to decades of history if she somehow manages to get away with her crimes. We have seen long term storytelling at its finest, and if you ask me, the writers are finally setting the stage for a spectacular downfall that mirrors the epic, satisfying justice we witnessed back in the day. It is truly time for us to consider that the fate of Willow is rapidly approaching its most massive and devastating turning point yet. If the current theories floating around our passionate community become reality, I firmly believe that Willow is not only facing the immediate risk of losing absolutely everything she holds dear, but she might also be heading straight for a cold prison cell. It is utterly fascinating to analyze how the narrative pieces are meticulously falling into place. The ultimate key to her unraveling might not even lie in the hands of Michael or Drew, despite their deep, complicated entanglements with her endless web of lies. Instead, the architect of her destruction could very well be a legacy character who is just stepping back onto the canvas with a fierce determination. I am, of course, talking about Serena. To understand why Serena is the perfect catalyst for this downfall, we must first look at the current romantic landscape surrounding Michael. Right now, you and I are both watching Jacinda exist in the orbit of Michael as his presumed girlfriend. However, if we look closely at the screen time and the emotional depth of their interactions, this relationship has experienced almost zero significant progression over the past several months. There is no spark, no undeniable chemistry, and certainly no hint of a brewing super couple that fans can root for. This stagnation leads me to strongly suspect that the writers have absolutely no intention of building Jacinda into the woman who will stand by Michael for the long haul. She feels like a mere placeholder, a temporary narrative distraction, while the real leading lady is being carefully positioned on the chessboard. Instead of Jacinda, Serena seems to be the chosen character destined to completely transform the trajectory of his life. To comprehend how this monumental shift will occur, we have to look at the shifting corporate landscape of our town. Following the heartbreaking departure of Maxie, who packed up her life and left, a massive power vacuum was created at Deception. Maxie selling her substantial shares of the cosmetics company to Michael was a brilliant, calculated narrative move. It gives Michael more reason than ever to be deeply invested in the daily operations and corporate battles of the Empire. He is no longer just a silent financial observer, he is a key player in a volatile, cutthroat business environment. Simultaneously, Serena is projected to step into the chaotic world of deception to lend her expertise and support. This natural convergence means that she and Michael will be spending an extraordinary amount of time working side by side in high-pressure situations. We all know exactly how the golden era of soap operas operated when it came to romance. Put two attractive, intelligent, and legacy-connected characters in a high-stakes boardroom, let them clash over business strategies, and the romantic sparks are absolutely bound to fly. I cannot rule out the extremely high probability that this professional collaboration will rapidly blossom into a deep, undeniable, and passionate romance. If Michael and Serena truly become a romantic pairing, the entire dynamic of the show shifts permanently, especially concerning the lingering threat of Willow. I do not foresee Serena being the type of woman who stands idly by on the sidelines, passively watching the drama unfold the way Jacinda has done. On the contrary, Serena has the rich history and the sharp intellect that suggests she will be a fierce, proactive protector of the man she loves. If Serena witnesses Willow continuing to linger in the life of Michael, manipulating situations, playing the victim, or causing him any form of emotional distress, she will not simply turn the other cheek. Serena will choose to launch a calculated, brilliant counterattack rather than endure the interference in silence. What truly piques my curiosity is the very real possibility that Serena will take it upon herself to launch a full-scale, quiet investigation into the past and present actions of Willow. In the sharp, observant eyes of Serena, Willow will not be viewed through the rose-colored glasses that so many others have foolishly worn. She will not see a pitiful mother or a tragic victim of circumstance who just needs to be saved. Instead, Serena will likely see right through the saintly facade to the deeply controversial, manipulative, and destructive trail of actions Willow has left in her wake over the years. Imagine the sheer narrative power of Serena quietly digging into the archives of the past few years, utilizing her resources and her sharp mind. If she uncovers or gathers concrete evidence regarding the terrible things Willow has done, the entire fragile house of cards will finally collapse. Think back to the dark days of the cult, the psychological manipulation involving Daisy, the horrific emotional toll taken on Sasha, the endless stream of lies fed to Michael regarding paternity and health, and the current terrifying situation involving a recovering Drew who is being kept against his will. So many people have tiny pieces of this massive puzzle, but no one has been objective, distant, or motivated enough to put them all together. Serena could be that exact person. She could become the ultimate catalyst, the one who connects every single disjointed fragment of deceit that no one else has managed to link. That is the exact moment when every dark secret Willow has buried will begin to shatter into a million pieces. For the longest time, Michael has harbored a deep, unwavering desire to gain full, unadulterated custody of his precious children. He desperately wants to protect them, to raise them in a stable environment, completely free from constant manipulation, lies, and hidden dangers. However, Willow has consistently remained the most formidable, frustrating obstacle in this grueling legal battle. The family court systems in our beloved town have always been incredibly tricky, often favoring the mother unless undeniable, concrete proof of absolute unfitness is presented to the judge. I truly believe that if Serena can assist Michael in proving that Willow is not just emotionally unstable, but genuinely dangerous and legally compromised, the scales of justice will permanently tip in favor of Michael. Serena possesses the intellect, the determination, and the legacy resources to find the exact evidence needed to strip Willow of her maternal leverage once and for all. But the consequences of this potential investigation extend far beyond a bitter family court dispute over custody rights. I strongly suspect that Serena could be the driving force behind a massive, official criminal investigation aimed directly at Willow. If Serena starts pulling the right strings, asking the right probing questions, and presenting her initial findings to the authorities, witnesses who have long remained terrified and silent might finally find the courage to step forward. If old buried evidence is suddenly brought back into the harsh light of day, or if Serena uncovers brand new, easily overlooked details regarding the drugging and captivity of Drew that everyone else missed, the situation will escalate drastically. Willow could suddenly find herself facing severe criminal charges that are far more serious and life-altering than she ever could have imagined in her worst, most paranoid nightmares. A grand, theatrical courtroom trial would no longer be a shocking twist. It would be the inevitable, deeply satisfying climax to years of long-term storytelling. Picture the dramatic, tension-filled scenes as Serena sits confidently in the gallery, watching with a knowing gaze as a ruthless prosecutor lays out a meticulous, undeniable timeline of every crime, every manipulation, and every lie Willow has orchestrated. The sheer panic, the crumbling of the saintly facade on the face of Willow as she realizes she has finally been completely outsmarted, would be absolute television gold that veteran fans have been craving for years. Of course, as a seasoned and realistic viewer, I must acknowledge that this remains a brilliant theory for now. There has been no official confirmation from the network that Serena will definitely become the new epic love interest for Michael, nor is there concrete proof yet that she will be the one to directly investigate or facilitate the criminal prosecution of Willow. This is simply a highly plausible and immensely satisfying narrative direction if the writers truly wish to introduce Serena as a formidable new force in the ongoing war between Michael and Willow. In my humble opinion, if Serena is written with the character integrity she truly deserves as a brilliant, decisive, and fearless woman who is more than ready to go toe-to-toe with a master manipulator, she could easily become the most terrifying adversary Willow has ever faced. Serena would not need to resort to physical altercations, hair-pulling, or petty shouting matches in the middle of the hospital lobby. Instead, she would conquer her enemies using undeniable documentary evidence, flawless legal strategy, and the calculated exposure of dark secrets at the absolute perfect moment to inflict maximum damage. If this storyline unfolds the way I deeply hope it does, Serena might not be the one holding the metaphorical weapon that takes Willow down, but she will undeniably be the one who unlocks the heavy wooden doors of the courtroom, leading Willow straight to her rightful, long overdue judgment. She will ensure that all the sins of the past are dragged, kicking and screaming into the light, leaving Willow with absolutely nowhere left to hide and no more victims to manipulate. It is exactly this kind of rich, layered, and deeply psychological drama that keeps me tuning in day after day, decade after decade. Through all the shifting eras, the changing faces, and the evolution of storytelling, my steadfast passion for this show remains completely unshaken and as vibrant as ever. We are potentially in for a thrilling, historic ride, my friends. and I cannot wait to watch every single second of this magnificent drama unfold with all of you.